What is up, my tricksters? It is your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh! Superhero, and today we're going to be talking about the ban list. Because we've got one coming up in like a month, and it's ban list season, and I've seen a few of my friends talking about it, a few of my fellow other Yu-Gi tubers talking about it, so I figured we'll go ahead and throw my 2 cents. Now, I'm going to be very realistic about this ban list. I'm not going to talk about what I want to happen, I'm going to talk about what I think could happen. And I think that is the best place to go with this particular ban list, because... especially because if you're someone like me, I have a giant list of cards that I would love it if the game just didn't exist. To be honest, like I actually on one of the Yu-Gi-Oh apps, I can't remember what it's called, Yu-Gi-Oh Neuron. I actually have like on here. I have like I want to say like 13 cards that I want to do stuff with, which some of them did make it into the video, but the most of them are not going to make it in this video. And to be fair, there's even more cards that I want to see come off the list but let's face it, like Skill Drain's never going to come to 3, guys. Let's face it, it's not going to happen. As an example, but like yeah. So I'm just going to be straight up with you that this is going to be a very realistic ban list of things that I can think could happen. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys to check out my description below, because I have an affiliation with Yourplaymats, and they will make you custom sleeves and put like any artwork you want on these. And I got my logo put on, and I think this is so cool. I still gush over having it, and like my Dino deck still has them sleeved up. It might help if I wasn't holding the thing down. Still has them sleeved up and ready to go. So Locals is going to be fun in a little while when I actually have the time to go. So, anyway, make sure you check that out. There's going to be a discount code. I'm going to flash it somewhere on the screen. It's Ben10YP, or you can go, go to click the link in the description, and there you go. You get 10% off your order, and they will put anything on the back of there. Like, literally almost anything. Like, and there's tons of Yu-Gi-Oh monsters to pick from. I'm also thinking about maybe making a Patreon thing where I make art for you guys to put on the back of them. I don't know yet. It's still something. I'm still working on the Patreon thing behind the screens. I just haven't had the time to figure out the details because life's gotten in my way. But anyway, let me know if that's something you might be interested in. Anyway, guys. Let's go into this ban list discussion video. I am uber excited to get into the topic. So first of all, I think one of the cards I'm gonna kind of go in order on the cards I have on here, and then I'll talk about some other things as we go. So the first card that I think is gonna change is we're gonna see Double Iris Magician. I think it's gonna come to 3. I have been seeing it in Pendulum decks. But since Pendulum hasn't been really doing too much, I think this is a possible card that could come off the list. And that, so that's a positive. We all want that. And now we're going to be kind of talking about the things that I think are going to change. And I'm going to talk about some of the things that I kind of have seen happen. Okay, so the next thing that I've been talking about is I've been seeing a lot of commotion around this card is a Zeus. And here's the thing, guys, I honestly don't think this card is going to get even looked at right now, although I do think it is ban list worthy to throw it on here. If it was ever to get hit, I don't think it'll go down below 1, and that's a good spot for this monster. You don't want this monster spamming, because also this monster can like being thrown on top of itself, which is just insane and just bad card design. So a smart thing would be to take this card down to 1, but that's not going to happen this list. This upcoming October list, I really think Konami's going to ignore this card because they want to sell it in the reprints and the Megatins. Yeah. The next thing that we're going to talk about is Drytron. There's got to be a Drytron hit, and honestly, the only thing I could see Konami possibly hitting is Ben 10. That's like literally, I know they want to hit me! It's a horrible joke. They want to hit my namesake. Bastards. Anyway, yeah. Cyber Angel Ben 10 is definitely on that list, I think. It's like the only viable way they'll really hit it. Because I also have seen people talking about hitting the Herald that negates, but I honestly don't think that card's even going to get looked at, to be honest. I think that this is the card, this is kind of their plus card, and this is the card that's going to get I think is gonna get the axe. And since this card can literally add any fairy monster, I think that's the other part of it. So this limits its the Drytron deck from like searching for the Herald easier. You know what I mean? Like this card. Oh well, hello. Come here. Cece wanted to say hello. Yes, I know. Oh, okay. He wants to play with the cord and he's mad because I won't let him. Anyway, here's Cece. Say hi to everyone. Isn't he cute? Yes, he's adorable. Anyway. Yeah, so I really think Angel Benton's going to get it. It's also, this is the card they used to search Lancia. This is the card they used to search the Vanity's Majesty, or I think is what it's called, or I don't know. The fairy one that says only the player who played it gets to special summon. So there's that. The next deck that I think that we're also need to discuss is Tri-Brigade. So obviously the card that I think everyone wants to get the smackdown is probably Brigade Revolt. A lot of players I've seen want this card to go to 1. But I honestly think that Konami's going to leave it alone. I think that Konami's going to do a switcheroo at some point. But here's what I honestly do think. I think this is the card that's going to get the axe. I think it's going to get Tinky. And I don't think Tinky's going to get banned. But I do think that Tinky is going to go to 1. It's an easy way to hit Tri-Brigade without actually hitting Tri-Brigade, if that makes any sense. Instead of going after the Revolt, which is the actual, I think is the actual problem card, because this is the card they use to make all their monster that banishes on the opponent's turn, basically making it the equivalent of a Dryden. So, and this is kind of like a Soul Charge-esque like card in a way. Fun fact, Dragoonity actually has a card like this, but they have a different, they have a more restrictive, which is funny that they have this deck, Dragoonity has a spell card that does the same thing as this card, but it's more restrictive. Anyway, that's me getting mad at Konami. Anyway, another card that I think people are wanting to get the axe, and I don't think it's going to, is Imperial Order. This is a card that I honestly do think that I don't think that people are wanting it to get the axe because it's also a way to hit Tri-Brigade because it's very popular in there. I've seen a lot of people making jokes online. Oh, it's just to flip Imperial Order and win for the Tri-Brigade deck, which is, I mean, I guess it would be kind of true. But I honestly don't think that this card is also going to get hit at all. I mean, Anti-Spell Fragrance and this card are basically the same card. It's just this card is just a little bit more powerful. So I could see it. I could see it actually getting banned, but I don't think Konami's actually going to ban it. I'm not saying that the card isn't bannable, but and I know the Sky Striker players like that idea of this card getting banned, but no such luck because I'm going to hit you too with this. I honestly think that this card might actually get rebanned because there was a large insurgence of or resurgence, excuse me, of Sky Striker players in the meta. And I think that a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are really tired of this deck. This deck abuses Mystic Mine. It's also been used as an engine to just go plus for no reason. So I think a lot of people are kind of tired of that, and we're going to want Sky Striker to go back to being the more trap-heavy version of it, or than this one was. And I think that's where people are going to be happy with Sky Striker. They're going to want them to go kind of back into being a little more obscure, and this card is definitely way too powerful to be played to where it's at, even at 1. So I'm honestly, my bet is Konami's either going to leave this card alone or they're going to get it, but put it back on the ban list, which I think is probably where it belongs. Now, I've been avoiding it. I wanted to save it for the tail end because it's probably the most important card on this entire list that we need to talk about, and that is this big SOB right here. We need to talk about Dragoon. Dragoon is a powerhouse of a monster, and it needs to go. Now, that being said, I do not think that... I think Dragoon might actually be possible to go on this list. I don't think that it is it's impossible. I think Konami will do one of two things. I think Konami will either leave this card completely alone, or they will ban it. This list it's one of those two factors, and the reason I'm on that thing is because Konami's done stupid stuff like they've been not getting rid of this card, and this card should have been banned out the. So I'm sorry for you players out there who play Dragoon, but this card is too powerful for the game. It has it basically has 6 effects. It's got a gaining attack. It's got negation, it's got can't being destroyed, it's got the resistance to being targeted, it's doing burn damage, it's doing spot removal. That's 6 different abilities all wrapped up in one. I get it, you gotta play bricks to use this card, and this card to me wouldn't be such a problem if it was limited to 1, and then the cards that facilitate it being spammed in anything but Dark Magician and Red Eyes were gone. But the truth of the matter is that if a player can play this in their deck, they're going to. Yu-Gi-Oh players just don't have that sense of what do you call it? I don't want to say honor, but they don't have a code or anything that says, okay, this deck is for this kind of thing, and that's what how I'm gonna use it. So like it wouldn't be so bad if you actually had to use like Red Eyes, Polymerization, and Dark Magician, and that was the only way to get it out. You know what I mean? Or like Dark Magician players were the only ones that could really play it, or Red Eyes players. But the truth is, everybody's gonna play it, and they're all gonna use Verte. So the correct answer is going to have to be that this is the card that's going to have to just go out the door. Now, to add to that theory of that this card might actually finally get the axe that it so rightfully deserves, is because of a new card that's coming out in the future, and I think that banning this card is going to help sell this card. And that is the Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. This card is basically banning Dragoon is going to help sell this card, because hero players are going to want this card, and all those decks that abuse Dragoon are going to just replace the cards that make Dragoon for the cards that make this. So it's going to be that Destiny Hero Fusion spell instead of Red Eyes Fusion. It's still going to be Verte. I mean, it would also be a smart idea if, point being, this card is going to, like I was saying, they're just going to replace it. I think it would also be a smart idea if Konami to limit Verte, but I don't think they will. So that's why I'm not even going to bother showcasing it, because this card is going to be the card that's going to be, its set is supposed to, keyword supposed to, come out in November. So they're literally a month after this fresh ban list. They are going to want to sell this card. They're going to want to sell the new Phoenix Enforcer, and I think the best way to do that is literally to ban Dragoon, and then make all those players who use all those cards to make this spend their money to make those hero cards to get this card. And in that same line of thinking, I could see Konami putting this guy, A Hero Lives, at more than 1 or 2. I think it could easily go from either to 2 or 3 on the next following list, as a way to also sell this card. This card is going to sell itself. I think no matter what Konami does with Dragoon or Hero Lives, excuse me, I will preface this. I do think that the set that this card is coming in is going to sell. I'm going to be flat out honest with you guys. Either way, no matter what this ban list does, it is going to sell. I'm just saying that I think that the hero players definitely want this card because it's going to be a disruption, which they don't really have a lot of, to be honest. Hero players are very much like, okay, go second and kind of OTK generally. That's been my experience. They don't really set up a lot of negation. So this card isn't a negate, but it is a disruption, and it is something that hero players haven't had before. So they will definitely be willing to have this card. And this guy next to like a Destiny Hero Darklaw, oh god, you're asking for Scary City right here, man. It's I'm just saying, if you start hearing hero players talking like this, I see you Batman fans. I'm just saying. Anyway, guys, I honestly do think that this card is going to sell that next set, but banning Dragoon will put this guy in more decks, and therefore will make that set sell more, is what I honestly think, because the Guru control players that play this a lot of the control players are gonna replace this card and its engine with the cards that would make this instead if Dragoon's gone. Now, if they decide to leave Dragoon at any capacity, sure, Phoenix Enforcer is still going to sell like hotcakes because the hero players are going to want it, because it's going to be their first disruption card in Yu-Gi-Oh history, pretty much, outside of like the Acid and Absolute Zero combo. And this card's more reliable than that. I'll be straight up, it just is. It's an easy one. It's a recurring Trident, Zodiac Trident. It's basically what this monster is.
And that being said, like I said, you know, that's also this card, A Hero Lives, coming at more than one, or, you know, anything more than one, is this card is going to help sell this card. So you have a banning of a card that's going to make it to where this guy's going to see play in, like, more control-y decks. You know, like Guru Control is the main one that comes to my mind. I've also seen Altergeist players play this card, so, you know, play this card as well in their Altergeist deck, so that's another thing I have seen before. And I don't think, and I think this card actually, I think a lot of the decks that do splice this in could splice this guy in. It's literally an easy flip change. It's also going to sell the set. It's just that how that will be used will be a little different. But a disruption is a disruption, regardless of. And this guy, like, oh, I get destroyed, I come back, so it's recurring. So even though he's got way more weaknesses than this card does, having that ability to recur itself is enough to make this guy see play. And so. Honestly, I think that if Konami really wants to sell this card even more so than it already is, banning Dragoon is going to, and allowing A Hero Lives to come to 3 is going to do that. So, anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think Konami's actually going to do on this next coming ban list. I'm actually really curious to see what you guys have to say in the comments. I know this last bit was really all centered around the Phoenix Enforcer, but I do think that the next ban list is going to be heavily focusing on selling this card and possibly some other future stuff. So if there's anything that I missed, also comment that below. I really want to hear your guys' thoughts. And guys, I'm Ben 10,000 yugioh. I'm your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh superhero. If you are new to the Ben 10,000 yugioh channel, please consider subscribing. We'd love to have you here on my team. And guys, I will catch you in the next one. Peace.